YouTube is the real hero of this quarantine, to be honest. Me and Anthony were watching, we spent last night just watching YouTube videos of people who were ranching. We were just like watching people a day in their life, like feeding their cows and shit. There's just something really soothing about it.
Yeah.
This is where we are, guys. This is where we are.
Oh my God. I spent like 2 hours watching Brad Mondo videos yesterday.
The best.
Oh.
The best. And I love that after our episode last week when I was talking about watching his videos, we had people in our Facebook group who were posting about like Brad Mondo because he's just so entertaining. There's just some people like that who I'm just like, you found your calling here on YouTube. Yep. You're perfect for this platform.
Yeah.
This is the hair guy?
Yeah. And he's snarky without being mean. You know, and he's just like, he's not mean like at all. You're just like, you're like laughing along with him. And he seems like so genuinely concerned for people that are making poor choices, you know? I enjoyed his videos quite a bit. That definitely made my coffee yesterday that much better. But yeah,
would highly recommend if you're just like looking for something that you can just sit and mindlessly watch, which I think is where a lot of us are at this point. Then I would recommend turning on Brad Mondo and just like letting it autoplay, because there is also something. It's the reason why we all watch all of those like My Strange Addiction and just watch somebody like eat their fucking couch. Like there is something about like watching someone make bad decisions that just makes you feel better. So when you're watching someone bleach their hair 6 times in rapid succession in one day, you're just like, oh, I feel better about my life for some reason. Yeah. My choices aren't so bad.
Yeah.
Anthony and I have we rewatched all 4 Hunger Games movies. So that's where I've been during this entire thing. I'm just like, which dystopian nightmare can I live through via the TV?
Yeah.
Right. So that's what I did. We watched all 4 of them in the last week. So
nice. Yeah, no, I've just been binging Parks and Rec. Like, it's just the best thing to have on in the background. It always just makes me smile. I don't know. There's just something so wholesome about that show that just...
It's the best. It really is. Yeah. It just makes me feel good. It does. It feels like a hug. It's something that's like comforting.
Yeah.
It's very comforting.
Yeah. So
I rewatched the first season of Friends because for some reason it's the only one I own. Even though it's like one of the worst seasons. I actually really enjoyed watching it over again, but I was just like, I need something that I'm so familiar with that just like brings me back to like full nostalgia, because that's where I'm at this point. And so we watched the whole first season of Friends as well. We've just been knee deep in consuming shit we've already consumed.
Yeah. I need to rewatch 30 Rock. That's the next one on my list.
Good. Amazing.
So good.
Yeah, 30 Rock is great.
Yeah.
Well, I was telling you guys before we started recording, Chris has watched Community, but I never did. And so we have started watching that. It has been like the perfect bedtime snack. Like, you know, just like something completely mindless to, you know, binge watch. I was going to save this for the end, but we've also Bosch new season is out, season 6. So we just finished that last night. So fucking good.
Oh my God. I just remembered what I have to tell you, Cassie. I saw a trailer for Tom Hardy as Capone. It looks so good. I was like, oh my God.
Damn.
First of all, love Al Capone stories. And it looks like they're doing like a really good, like, true story, kind of hit the end of Capone's life. And it's Tom motherfucking Hardy who...
Yeah. I feel like Tom Hardy is physically very, very wrong for that role. I mean, I think he can do anything because he's an amazing actor. But physically, odd choice.
Yeah, they prosthetic the fuck out of him.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, they would have to.
Yeah.
Because he looks nothing like Al Capone.
Such a good actor, though. I'm definitely going to check that out. I literally wrote myself a note.
Yeah, check out that trailer. It looks good.
Love Tom Hardy.
So, Cassie, you sent us this text message earlier this week, and you were like, we're saving this to talk about on the podcast. So I opened it up this morning, and it's this person who is a journalist at BuzzFeed News. She got broken up with via Zoom, and she wanted to write about the experience. Now, I will say, first of all, too long of an article. I'm like, lady, you went on a date with this guy they went on 3 dates. And she's like, I knew it wasn't actually going to work because he's vegan and I really love cheese. But it was like, we had a great, we made like, she was like, it was 3 of the best kisses of my life. Like, that's what she said. She's like, it's 3 of the best kisses of my life, though. And then he went away for a weekend at the beginning of March. And then I thought that I had been exposed to somebody who had COVID. So I started self-isolating. And of course, at that point, our face-to-face interactions were over. So we did a FaceTime date, and then we did 2 Zoom dates following that, and I was isolating at my parents' house. So she's like a grown lady who's isolating at her parents' house. So she's up in her like childhood bedroom.
Oh my God.
And he calls and is like, hey, can we have a Zoom date? I need to talk to you. And so she's like, oh fuck, right? Because that's never good. And he was like very upright, like forthright and honest about the fact that he had just gotten out of a 7-year relationship. This was the first person that he had started dating after that 7-year relationship, and he thought he was ready and he wasn't. And she even says like, it was a courtesy that he did it face to face. This was the perfect time for him to ghost me. He didn't ghost me.
Yeah, I was just going to say, like, it sounds amazing. Like, I got ghosted so many times. Like, somebody actually taking the time to like get on a Zoom call, which, as we all know and are familiar with by now, is a kind of a pain in the ass most times. Right. The tech problems that you have up front alone are just like, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Is this good? Like, all that shit. He went through that to be like a gentleman and actually like let her down like the right way. So kudos to this guy.
Yeah. And, you know, she did say that. She was like, it was bad because we were we were breaking up, but we were also breaking up. Like the video was breaking up.
Oh shit!
And so she had to kind of ask him, like, "Are we breaking up?" And he's like, "Yes." And I don't know. I don't know if it's just because I'm in like a bad mood this week, but for me, I'm just like, because then she goes on to talk about how like sad she was, and she's like crying over Zoom and everything. And maybe I should have more empathy because we're all in a very emotionally fragile state right now. But I'm like, you went on 3 dates.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
3 dates. So like, how heartbroken could you possibly be?
Those must have been really fucking good kisses.
Yeah.
Really fucking good.
Well, and I think that you hit the nail on the head, Keegan. There have been things that have made me cry this week where I'm like, I'm not actually crying about the fact that we're out of chips. I'm crying about
everything else.
Other things. There are underlying factors that are bringing me to this level of upset about the lack of ruffles in the house.
Yeah, it makes me wonder if like that breakup would have been hard on her if things had run their course normally. If it would have been less or more difficult.
Yeah.
Right? You know? I don't know.
It seems like it was doomed to this anyway. I mean, if that was, I don't know. It's very like she said though. I mean, you're like we said, you know, like in the time when he could have ghosted easily, he at least made the effort to come back in and be like, hey, you know, times are tough, but
and also for him, from his perspective, I could also see, just if you know it's not working for you, this is not the time to take on any additional emotional labor.
A fucking man. Yep.
You know, so like if it's not working, then don't dedicate any more time to any more like Skype dates with somebody that you're just like, I'm not interested in really. Mm-hmm. You know, it's too, I'm tired.
The effort is so, huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to start anything during this time, I think would be just like, how fucking hard, how much effort Like if somebody's actually taking the time, like I said, to like set up Zoom dates and shit like that with you, that's an intense amount of effort. I think that would go a long way with me if I was still single, you know?
I want to know what it's like for people who were like on the verge of breaking up with somebody. Oof. And then this happened and now they're having to like quarantine with this person. Oof. Because I know what those feelings are when you're in the last, when you're like, you're still living with the person, you're still dating the person, but in your heart of hearts, you know that you're going to break up with them soon. And that period is like, it sucks because like you're not having a good time, you know, it's not working out. And then can you imagine the stay-at-home order coming? And when the stay-at-home order came, I know that we weren't all expecting it to last months and months. So you're probably like, oh, I'll wait it out a couple of weeks or whatever. And now we're like over a month in and you're still fucking stuck with that guy. Can you imagine?
No, no, it'd be terrible. Because like when you're in a place like that, every single thing bothers you. Like
100%.
The way that they blink, the way that you're like, really, bro? Like you're gonna blink all loud and shit, and oh my god,
why you gotta brush your teeth like that? Like why can't you just brush your teeth like a normal fucking person? God.
Yeah. And you want to argue with them just to fucking argue with them. Yep. Like if you're sitting on the couch and they pick something to watch, even if it's something that you want to watch, you're still like your instinct is to just be like, no.
I guess. Yeah. Whatever. Yeah. It's fine.
Yeah. I'm like already operating at like a low level of irritation these days anyways. But like, dude, adding that onto it and just being like, swallowing rage every single moment of the day. Oh my god, it would just be awful. And hell, face it, like most of the apartments and shit like that out here are small as fuck. So you're sheltering at home. You're on top of that person that you fucking can't stand. Ugh.
Yeah, thanks. I hate it.
Yeah, and especially if you're in that position where you're still you're not, because I mean, you can't break up with them right now, or I wouldn't. I would be like, I can't do that at this moment. So you're also probably trying to operate in this way that like, you don't, I don't know, you don't want them to know.
Right.
That you feel that way.
You can't
either.
You're not going to hold it very long though in this climate. That shit's going to come to the surface real fucking quick.
Oh my God. It makes me think of that post that someone posted in our Facebook group about the 42-year-old guy who was dating the 28-year-old girl that liked him.
Fuck that asshole.
First of all.
That fucking piece of shit.
And throughout her fucking jars, she liked drinking out of like jars.
Like big mason jars. Yeah.
To drink. It's not a fucking
to make
big
her
deal
fancy drinks. To make her fancy drinks. Which, here's first of all, he belittled her drinks.
Yes.
Which annoyed me.
Yeah.
Because I'm just like, why does this affect you whatsoever?
Exactly.
Why do you give a fuck? So basically, listeners, this is what happened. It was a Reddit post. This guy was doing an Am I the Asshole Reddit post. He's 42. His girlfriend is 28. He just moved into her house, is what it sounded like. He moved in with her. And she likes to keep jars. So like if she bought pickles and there's a jar left over, which by the way, I also, my crow brain, I'm like, yes, keep the jar.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I'm like, I don't know, I could store something in there. Especially now that I'm growing vegetables, I'm like, I'm about to buy a pickle jar just to keep for when I want to make my own pickles. You know what I mean?
Right.
So anyway, she collected these jars because she liked making drinks that were like lemon and honey and mint, and she would like mix them all together and put them in the fridge and keep them in the fridge. And first of all, he was like, at first I was okay with it because I thought she was doing it to lose weight because she's a little chubby.
Get the fuck out of here.
That fucking lit my face on fire because I was like, who the fuck is you? Oh my God.
And why is it okay that if she's doing it to lose weight, but it's not okay if she's doing it just for the simple joy of doing it? So anyway, he's like, I hate that she collects these jars. They're taking up space in our cabinets. So one day while I was cleaning while she was asleep, I just threw them away, and now she's mad at me. And I was like, are you stupid?
Yes, you are the asshole.
then he fucking told her. He told her, told her about it being like a weight loss thing. And
he's like, I thought you were doing it to lose weight. And he's like, she got all quiet and walked away. And I'm like, oh, you hit the danger zone, dude. While she was still yelling at you and mad, you stood a chance. But if she gets quiet and walks away, you have cut her so deep.
Yep. You're done.
And he was like, she hasn't talked to me in days. Should I just bite the bullet and apologize? And I'm like, bite the bullet and apologize? You need to admit that what you did was wrong and apologize.
That's right.
How about that?
Oh my God.
Yes, you are the asshole, sir. The answer to your
Imagine
question.
if you're quarantining with that fucking guy.
Hell no. Hell no.
Like, there are little things that I do and that I have during this time that make me happy. And who the fuck is you to A, judge it, and B, decide you're the boss of it and that you can get rid of it? Like, that's so absolutely not okay. To me, I was just so furious reading that post. I could not, if I'd break up with that guy, especially if it's my fucking
I would
house.
too.
Get the fuck out of my house. The fuck.
No, I would too, because it's not just about jars. It's about disrespect. And it's about that person not valuing something that brings you joy. It doesn't matter why it brings you joy, and it doesn't have to make sense to the other person. It doesn't affect them at all. And he said, like, well, I made the argument that it does affect me because I live here. And it's like, what does it matter?
Yeah.
Why would you cause a fight over something so fucking
trivial,
stupid? And to me, then that means, like, what kind of weird controlling personality do you have where that seems important to you?
Well,
sorry, go ahead.
I already think that guy has some sort of issues, like, not to be like a Judge Judy or anything like that, but he just kind of seems like he's 42 dating a 28-year-old who he's like going to belittle and call chubby and stuff like that. It's just so red flags to me in so many different ways. Yep. Like you hit the nail on the head, Keegan. There's some controlling issues there where he's definitely trying to like mold her or something. Ugh.
If I was that girl, I would Zoom call him from the other room and break up.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of my house.
Can you come in here and shut the door, please?
Can you go outside and shut the door, please? Thanks. Bye.
This is My Worst Date. I'm Keegan.
I'm Cassie.
I'm Christina.
And we also have new patrons.
Yeah.
Which is very exciting.
Ton, too.
So, first of all, very, very, very special shout out to one of my best friends ever in the whole wide world. We've been friends since I was 11 years old. So Sienna, thank you so much for joining our Patreon family. You are already part of my family. So I love that we can now have you on Patreon. That's amazing. Thank you so much. Also, Mattman, I like that he goes by Mattman on Patreon. His little like icon is a little Batman drawing.
Amazing.
So thank you so much as well for joining us on Patreon. Also, Shannon Calton, who I knew as well growing up. It was super fun and funny, and actually Sienna introduced us whenever we were like 17.
Aww.
So thank you so much. And Whitney Slaughter, we are so happy to have you. I can't believe the influx of people that we got on Patreon this week. You guys are incredible. I'm constantly amazed by you. And we are so, so grateful. And we feel so lucky that the community that you guys have built, it's not really like we've done all that much. The community that you guys have managed to build with each other has been so wonderful, especially in times like this. I spend a lot of time just scrolling on our Facebook page because it makes me happy. So thank you guys. Thank you.
Yeah, it means a lot to us. We so appreciate it. And I will get I'll get some stickers, buttons, things like that, letters out to you guys soon.
Yay.
So we have to talk about the new Bachelor. Have you guys heard about Bachelor Listen to Your Heart?
No, I have not.
Let me read you this synopsis of this show. I have not checked out either. Uniting two of the most emotionally powerful forces in human life, music and love. 20 single men and women embark on an incredible journey to find love through music. Singing well-known songs, both individually and as couples, they look to form attractions through the melodies, find and reveal their feelings, and ultimately fall in love.
Absolutely fucking not.
Fucking hate everything about that so much. I can't even tell you. Like, what in the Glee bullshit is that shit?
Glee.
What a fucking cringe fest. Are you kidding
I
me?
hate it. This sounds
I hate that.
horrible.
And also, by the way, it didn't work whenever they decided to do that. Remember that, like, that was a flash in the pan? What, were there like 2 episodes of that Jenna Dewan Tatum dance dating show? Because nobody wants to cringe their way through an episode for 45 fucking minutes.
Reality TV is legitimately like, here's 2 crazy ideas. Let's slap them together and see what we can make up. Everybody loves to watch a dating show and everybody likes singing shows. Let's blend the 2. It sounds horrible.
You know what? I don't like sitting through The Bachelor whenever they feed me some country music star who's playing the...
Oh, God.
Like, there's always at least one episode of The Bachelor in which there's a country music star with an acoustic guitar and just the 2 of them on this date where he's serenading them while they eat dinner and then they have to, like, get up and start dancing or something. And I'm like, I'm already fucking uncomfortable. Like, I'm uncomfortable already. So if you're going to make me sit through an entire show like where it's nothing but 2 people singing in each other's faces, fuck off. Absolutely not.
My secondhand embarrassment cannot handle that shit. I'm like, I'm so embarrassed for you.
Also, though, partially interested to at least watch like 1 episode to see how fucking terrible it is. You know what I mean? Like just 1, because I for sure can't live through more. But I am interested in like 1 ep.
I will watch the clip that inevitably gets put on YouTube because it's so cringy. Where people are like, get a load of this shit. That's what I'll watch.
Okay.
Yeah. Same.
Because it will happen.
Yeah.
It will happen. There will be something so embarrassing on that show that it spreads on the internet like wildfire.
Well, speaking of cringeworthy dating shows, there is another new dating show that's out on Netflix, which I think by popular request we may have to watch. It's called Too Hot to Handle. And I guess that...
I watched the trailer for that last night and wow.
Tell me about it.
What?
No, tell me about it. I haven't really looked much into it.
Okay. So I watched the trailer and it really seems like a Temptation Island kind of thing in the beginning. It's like they take something like 10 really hot dudes, although there were a couple there that I was like, 10 really hot dudes, 10 really hot women, and then they put them on an island together, living in a house together. And so, of course, everyone is like, we are gonna go to Bone Town every fucking day on this island, right?
Super
They're
Smash
like,
Brothers, yeah.
yes,
Super
yes,
Smash
yes.
Brothers.
So they let them get together and like feel each other out, scout each other out, and then they have a real Black Mirror situation where they have like an Alexa, and that comes on and it's like, attention. A new rule has been established. You cannot kiss or have sex with anybody. So they're stuck in this house together. They can develop relationships, but they are not allowed to kiss. If they kiss at all, the amount of money that they get at the end goes down.
Oh, Jesus.
So every time they kiss, the amount of money that they receive at the end of the game of the show is deducted.
Oh, God.
Okay,
so it's
I'm
basically
interested.
just a bunch of like hot people who are like stuck in a house together who are like, we have to talk to each other to form relationships. You know, like they don't know what to do. They're like, I've always just hooked up with people. So it's just them trying to like figure out how to like have relationships without having sex or kissing.
That's
Oh,
so
my
interesting. Now
God.
I am interested in this one because I'm like, I do feel like this could be the place where like a real relationship could form because you're just like, you know, you are taking that element of chemistry out of it where it's like I'm only attracted to somebody for their looks. Like this might be more successful than Love is Blind.
It seems very tantric, right? Where it's just like, we're just going to sit next to each other and touch.
I'm going to hum
You know what I
against
mean?
your face.
Yeah, where they're like, we can't actually kiss, so I'm just going to lovingly stroke your arms for 30 minutes, you know?
Oh my God. And they're like, ah.
They're like, there are no cameras in the bedrooms. They're like, I'm sorry. This is just, it's all Spanky McSpankerson in the bedrooms.
Oh my God.
Oh, I mean, everybody's just masturbating furiously is what's happening. Like, that's what's happening.
This is a real like coronavirus teaching moment though. Like, cause honestly, that is the way that relationships have to develop now. You gotta fucking shelter at home. Can't be going around Super Smash Brothers. Like, you have to form relationships. And then after this is all said and done, like hopefully like the foundation's been laid. But yeah.
And then the pipe can be laid. Ayo.
Hey.
I wonder whatever happened to that Big Brother house. Did you guys hear about that Big Brother house? I can't remember if it was here or in the UK where they were in the house.
Basically quarantining.
They were quarantining, but they didn't, because they were in the house when all this stuff went down, they didn't know about coronavirus.
I was thinking about that earlier today.
And the producers were like, I don't remember if they finally did tell them, but at the time that I heard it, the producers were like, we're not going to tell them that this is a thing that's happening. So they were just living their lives as they had no clue that this was going on.
Wow.
I wonder if they ever told them.
Be interesting to hear for sure. I would love an update on that.
So what should we fuck, marry, kill this week?
I was thinking about fuck, marry, kill. I was actually thinking, since we were talking so much about reality TV, do you guys want to do like reality TV hosts or reality TV famous or favorite reality TV people? Or
Hosts,
I think hosts would be
for
fun.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. Why don't we do Jeff Probst?
Chris Harrison, man.
What's he from? Oh, Bachelor. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He's cute, but smarmy. Who else is like a reality? Carson Daly's done some reality.
Oh yeah,
shows,
he does. He does The Voice, right?
Mm-hmm.
Carson Daly does The Voice.
I don't know. The only reality show I watch is The Bachelor. So I
watch
don't know.
Survivor, so I'm picking Jeff Probst.
I'll pick Carson Daly. He does The Voice. I've watched The Voice.
Okay. All right. So Chris Harrison, Jeff Probst, and Carson Daly.
Yep.
Okay.
Ugh.
Yikes.
Yeah. K yourself.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, okay, not really. Like, that's really harsh. But, like, I don't know, man. There's something about Carson Daly that makes me, like, not interested in him. Like, I don't know if it's because, like, I was a kid whenever he was, like, hosting TRL.
Yeah. Tara Reid.
And he was, like, dating Tara Reid. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I was just like, there's something about him that just seems so smarmy. And I never understood his appeal. Mm-hmm. I think that that's a big part of it, too. I never thought he was good looking. I don't think he's, like, super charismatic in any way. So I was like, why are you so popular? So I have to really think about this.
Yeah. I think I know what I'm going to do.
Okay.
I think that I'm going to marry Jeff Probst. I love the idea of possibly going with him to work on an island. And he seems very cool. He's good looking. And I like him. He's got those dimples. He's super cute. I think that I am going to kill Chris Harrison. He seems the smarmiest of the group. I don't know. There's something really odd about him to me. Like,
I think in order to be a reality TV show host, there has to be a level of smarminess there. Yeah. I think you have to be. And again, maybe it's just because I just finished watching The Hunger Games again, but they have that, like, Stanley Tucci is like the host of The Hunger Games or whatever. And it's an exaggeration, of course, but it's an exaggeration of existing
based
game
in
show / reality show hosts.
What's that dude's name? Ryan What's
Seacrest?
his face? Seacrest. Yeah, it's the Ryan Seacrest effect.
Yes, where there's just something you have to have a certain
Level of smarm. Yeah.
in order to do that job, I feel like.
I think there's got to be a certain level of ego that we're maybe tasting a little bit of, that you have to be able to come in and be the host of something so big. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
But Chris Harrison, I'm going to kill. I'm going to fuck Carson Daly and just get it over with, honestly.
Well,
I don't think it's going to be good.
I don't think it's going to be good either. I feel like Carson Daly is not going to try. I feel like he also, because he was a young reality show host, which is kind of unusual. I feel like usually, like with Jeff Probst and Chris Harrison, I don't think they got the gigs until they were a little bit older. So there's something about Carson Daly that I'm just like, oh, you were really famous, really young
in the 90s.
And those people, I feel like they're not putting any work in.
Yeah.
They're not putting any work in.
I think I'm actually, unpopular opinion, I think I'm going to marry Carson Daly because there is a little something that I remember him from. He had this like underground music show after TRL that was like his own talk show or whatever, where he's like, he interviewed musicians and he talked very intelligently about music. And
it was like something with Carson Daly, right? Like,
yeah.
I can't remember, but I know what you're talking about.
He sings.
What's his background? Does he have a background in music at all?
I don't know. I actually don't, but there's just something. Yes, he does seem like he's kind of a dick, but I'm kind of a bitch, and I can see us working long term. Like there's something about it. So I'm gonna marry Carson Daly. I think our bad personalities mesh well together. And I am going to I'm going to fuck Chris Harrison because as smarmy as he is, there's something about his smile that oddly really turns me on. I'm not going to lie. And I also think that he's used to probably getting it with pillow princesses, and that I will rock his world.
You'll blow his
I'll
mind.
blow his fucking head off. And then I'm going to kill Jeff Probst. I don't want to go to an island with all those bugs and stuff. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do.
Okay. I think I am going to marry Jeff Probst. I think he's good looking. Like you said, Cassie. And
your kids would
to
have
me,
the deepest of dimples.
so deep.
Ugh.
Yeah. They would have Soup's deep dimples. Probably wouldn't be very tall, but that's okay. I just, of the three of them, I think he seems like the least smarmy to me of the three of them.
Yeah.
I am going to, and I don't really know why I'm making this choice. It could be the wrong decision. But I think I'm going to fuck Chris Harrison because there is something about Chris Harrison that makes me laugh because it's like a very thinly veiled contempt for the contestants.
Yes, you're exactly right. Yeah.
Yeah, where I'm just like, they talk to you like you're their friend, but I know deep down you are so sick of all of their shit. Mm-hmm. And I kind of like it. Mm-hmm. Like he knows that they're like all just like vapid, self-interested people. And not as though he isn't, because there is a level of like smarminess to Chris Harrison. So I think that he is also pretty full of himself. But for like one night, I think that it would be kind of funny. And also, he seems like the type who would be completely open and willing to spill all of the tea.
Yes.
On all of the Bachelor contestants and everything that goes on behind the scenes. So I'm like, I'm in. So yeah, I'm gonna fuck Chris Harrison. And then I'm gonna kill Carson Daly. And I don't really know what it is, because it's not like he's really revealed himself to be any worse than anyone else.
Yeah.
There just is something that must have developed during my childhood of watching him on TV that I'm like, I just can't
Yeah.
do it. Yeah. Yeah.
No,
So that's what I'm going to do.
Pretty terrible in TRL. So
Yeah, and I think it actually stems from the relationship with Tara Reid.
Yeah.
There was something there that rubbed me wrong about that.
yeah.
That like I just never got over. Maybe it was because I was obsessed with Josie and the Pussycats and he was in it.
Oh.
And I think his character in it was like kind of annoying. So maybe that's what it was. I don't know.
There we go. All right. You guys want to take 5 and we'll come back with stories?
This episode is brought to you by Simple Mobile. Tired of being tied down with a wireless contract? Switch to Simple Mobile and stay connected on a powerful nationwide 5G network. Unlimited talk, text, and data starts at $30 a month with no contracts, activation fees, or credit checks. Visit simplemobile.com today. Out with the old, in with the simple. Compatible 5G capable device and SIM required. Actual availability, coverage, and speed may vary. 5G network not available in all areas. 1 month equals 30 days. See terms and conditions at simplemobile.com.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
This episode is brought to you by Best Fiends. If you're like me, you're always looking for new things to keep you entertained. Enter Best Fiends.
I don't know what you're waiting for, but y'all need to jump on the game Best Fiends. We've been talking about it for a little bit now, and you know that we're all obsessed with this game, so you have to jump on it.
There's so many cute little characters that you can play with. I love Carmen right now. One of my favorite characters. I've made it all the way to level 595, if you can believe it. Such a fun game and so easy to play, but still challenging and puzzling at the same time.
Get on Facebook. Tell us if you're playing. Tell us what character you guys are into. I personally want to know who else is playing this with us.
Engage your brain with fun puzzles and collect tons of cute characters. Trust me, with over 100 million downloads, this 5-star rated mobile puzzle game is a must play.
Download Best Fiends free on the Apple App Store or Google Play. That's friends without the R. Best Fiends.
Cheers! And we're back.
Yay!
All right.
Yay.
Well, I'm first up because I got the crazy in love this week, which I can't wait. All right. So this is from one of our favorite places, Single Society. And this story was called A Failed Blowjob.
Oh, no.
How?
Oh, it's such a good name for this story and so misleading. I met Luke on Tinder. Romantic, I know. And after exchanging texts for the better part of a month, he invited me to watch a LA Dodgers game in his company's box seats. Being a diehard Dodgers fan that I am, I graciously obliged. Luke offered to pick me up in his car for the game. While I typically prefer to meet people in public places, I figured LA traffic would be even worse on a game day, so I decided to skip the expensive Uber ride and accepted his offer. When I got into his car, he looked nothing like his fair-skinned, blue-eyed, handsome gentleman depicted in his profile. His face was bestrewn with a few acne scars, and his teeth were a pale shade of yellow, and I could also tell that he had a cavity by the pungent smell engulfing his Honda Civic.
Oh, no.
What?
Oh, no. Dude.
The smell of rotten teeth.
I don't even know what that smells like. Like I wouldn't be able to pinpoint that.
Like the smell
that
of like a cavity breath.
Yeah.
Oof.
No.
I don't know what that smells like.
Have you ever been around somebody, though, where it's like it's like that pig pen cloud around their mouth almost, and you're just like, how do you not smell that? That's what your breath is like when, like, I can smell it 3 feet away. Oh, so awkward.
So
yeah,
bad.
I don't like that.
Clearly, I would not be sleeping with Luke in the future, but at least I will get to enjoy box seats at the Dodgers game. We were driving down the road listening to a 90s alternative playlist when his car started beeping. Luke reached down between his seat and the door and pulled up an apparatus into which he blew. I stared at him quizzically. Oh, I got a couple DUIs, so I have to blow into the breathalyzer like every 15 minutes, he said, rather nonchalantly. Wow.
Oh.
Every 15 minutes? What? Wait.
It's a lot.
How many DUIs did you have? Because like I've known people who have had to put breathalyzers in their car, and usually it's only to get the car started. Like you have to breathe into it in order to drive. Yeah. But I've never met anybody who has to blow into it every 15 minutes while driving.
That's a lot. Could you imagine LA?
What happens? Does the car just shut down?
I don't know.
Oh my God.
If you don't do it?
You get arrested immediately. I don't know. Oh my God. Wow. Okay. So this is a massive red flag. But as I said, I was already decided that I wasn't going to sleep with him. Luke and I arrived at the game and settled into the box before the first pitch. Luke chivalrously asked if he could get me a drink and returned from with a beer for me and a whiskey and Coke for himself. As the innings passed, Luke retrieved our third round of drinks, and I remember the breathalyzer. Don't you have to be sober in order for your car to start? I inquired. As long as I blow a .06, it will start, he assured me. So I thought,
you've had 3 whiskey Cokes.
So I thought, 1, that doesn't sound correct. 2, after 3 whiskey Cokes, is that even possible? 3, should you be drinking and driving at all after several DUIs, let alone one?
Well, this was my question to her, because she was like, well, I'd already decided I wasn't going to sleep with him, so I wasn't too worried about it. And I'm like, yeah, but you know you're going to a game and you're in a car with somebody who has to blow into it every 15 minutes.
And jump out of the car? Like, you're already on your way.
No, but how are you going to get home?
Lyft, man. Yep. Pull that Lyft up.
Yeah, you should just call it Lyft.
Yep.
So the game ended and we headed to the car. Luke blew a .08. Shocking. Oh, shit. It's okay, though. I just have to wait about 15-20 minutes and drink some water. I'll definitely be below .06 by then, Luke assured me. After 30 minutes and a bottle of Aquafina, Luke gave the breathalyzer another shot. No luck. Luke's blood alcohol level still remained .08. I told Luke I was going to just take an Uber home, but after he relentlessly begged me to wait for just a bit longer because he really wanted to get dinner, feeling somewhat sorry for him, why, who the fuck knows, I apprehensively agreed. Another hour went by and Luke was ready to try and start his car. Alas, he blew a .06. But clearly, Luke was sadly mistaken. Blowing a .06 did not unlock his car as he had expected. Since this was his third time trying and failing, his car was officially locked for 24 hours.
Oh, no.
Luke was sweating bullets, trying to figure out what to do about getting his car out of the lot that was closing.
I guess you're sleeping in your car, Luke.
Yeah.
And I'm taking my Uber home.
Right.
Goodbye.
And to avoid getting his car towed, perhaps I could have stayed for moral support, but I did not. I called an Uber.
Oh, God bless. Good.
Guess you could say he really blew it. Mwahaha. That's so funny. Sorry, Luke. Don't drink and drive.
Yeah, don't. And honestly, I thought that breathalyzers only turned on your car when you had like no alcohol.
I think that is true. You can't have any alcohol in your system.
It's definitely not a .06.
Yeah, exactly. And from what I know too, like, don't they put like an ankle monitor on you too? Like, you can't drink at all for a lot of like DUI stuff.
That wasn't the experience with the person that I knew who had a breathalyzer in her car. She could drink and she didn't have an ankle bracelet or anything. She could not start her car unless she blew into it and she had not been drinking at all.
Yeah, right.
Like, yeah, it wasn't like. Also, I just want to say to all the ladies out there and men, if you're conflict avoidant, don't let somebody convince you to sit around with them if they're drunk because they want to drive you. I know you can like feel bad for them because that's kind of what it sounded like, is that like she felt sorry for him and wanted to like stay with him and finish the date off and all of that stuff. But if he's that drunk and also has a history of driving drunk, which he clearly does, he is not good at making decisions. He can't make the decision of like when it's safe for him to drive.
Right.
So
Clearly
don't
not.
let him make that decision. Yeah. So you should, if your instincts are telling you call an Uber because it's not worth risking your life.
Right.
Not for this dude.
No.
Not for this dude.
Yeah, exactly.
Or any dude, really.
True.
Come on. Okay, this is an email that we received, and it says, "Hi, ladies. I've written in a couple of times, and I managed to make it to your live show last year in February.
Yay!
It was awesome. Can't wait for you guys to go on tour. I had just moved to California that year, but I have since moved home to Minnesota for personal reasons and financial reasons, i.e., I missed all my friends and family, and I was quickly running out of money and not able to find a full-time job. I did get to work at Not Scary Farm, though, so that was fun.
Aw.
I had a good time scaring bratty teenagers. Anyway, as I've been stuck inside, I have been ruminating about the last dude I dated, and I wanted to tell you about the date that made me take a break from dating for a year."
Whoa.
Yeah, she's like, "I'm done. That's enough."
Like, I need to put this to
Okay.
rest.
This was back in the summer of 2017. I met this guy on a night out with friends, and at first, he was kind of amazing. He was mature and handsome. I've had issues with dudes either obsessively texting me or giving me one-word answers every few hours, nothing in between. I hear that. It's just like either they're obsessed with you or they're not communicating at all. But this guy was a perfect gentleman and managed to plan a date with me. We would go on dates about once a week as we were both pretty busy work-wise. It was a great time. I did, however, have to sit down and chat with him about sex because he definitely would move way too fast in our makeout sessions. Red flag. So I told him that I hadn't gone all the way with a guy before and that I wanted to take things slow. He said okay. I thought, man, I nabbed a great one. I really wish he would make out with me for more than 5 minutes before trying to get to second base, but whatever. What a fool I was. So on the date, we go out to dinner and then head back to his place. We start watching The Dark Knight and quickly stop watching because we were smooching. We moved to his bedroom, and I'm thinking, I'll let him go to third base because this shit is fun.
Yeah, there you go. Hey.
And I also love that she was watching The Dark Knight. We've had that whole conversation
Yes.
of like, what movie do you put
That's a
on
good
that you
one.
know you're not going to watch? It is because it has a real, like, it's exciting enough at the beginning, but then it has kind of like a slower middle. So it's like you don't have to pay attention. But then if you finish fooling around, you're in for like the very exciting ending. So it's long. It's a long movie.
Yep.
It's like perfect. It's perfect
It
for
is
this
perfect.
situation.
Good soundtrack too. Like good score, you know?
The
So it's just
intense soundtrack.
Yeah.
Blah, 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 blah. And it was all going well until he just one by one starts taking my clothes off. I'm cool with it. Whatever. It's sexy. I like it. I'm going down on him and he makes me stop. Both of us are buck naked. He lays me down, gets on top of me and says, I really want to have sex with you. Needless to say, it was a compromising position, but I stood my ground and said, no, not right now. Silence. He didn't say anything, didn't do anything. I knew that he had no idea what to do because he didn't expect me to say no. I ended up just finishing him off with a handy and he drove me home. He dumped me just a couple weeks later via text saying that he just wanted something casual and he didn't have time for a girlfriend, meaning he was frustrated that I wouldn't have sex with him, so he dumped me.
Yep.
So pause on the story. Wow. She was upfront from the beginning.
Yep.
I hate this shit, and we talked about it in our Patreon episode for what was that movie that we just did?
Two can play that game.
Yeah.
Two can play that game. There is this misconception that I feel like has been born out of romance novels, rom-coms, all of these things where it becomes, especially in the 90s and the early 2000s, where if a woman set up boundaries, it became a game to try and see if you could get her to break those boundaries down. So even if she was being completely forthright and honest with you about what her boundaries were, you're like, I bet you I can try really hard and get her to change.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
So fucking annoying.
It's really annoying. Yeah. I was sad for approximately 1 day and got over him. We dated for about a month and a half, maybe 2 months. Needless to say, I was disappointed that the guy I thought was so great and different from all the other guys I've dated in the past ended up being just another creep. Now I am much more secure in myself and definitely wouldn't let that shit slide again. Hopefully I can actually meet a great guy this year when this pandemic dies down. Keep kicking ass, ladies. I look forward to a new episode every week. I love hanging out on Facebook, and I hope you ladies come to Minnesota one day. Make sure to come in the summer, though. Yeah. Love ya, Leah. P.S. One last thing that I thought was hilarious was the night while we were heavy petting, he said to me, "It's been a while since I've been with a partner." And I just remember thinking to myself, "Oh, honey, I know, I can tell." He was horrible at foreplay.
Oh, shit. I bet that handy didn't take long.
Oh my God. No, stuff like that is just so frustrating.
Well, because here's the thing. It's okay if you want to have sex. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. If that's something that you want or you feel like you need within a certain amount of time from someone you're dating, then that's okay. Everybody has their own timeline, their own boundaries. But if the other person has been very clear about their boundaries, you don't string that person along for 2 months and then be like, okay, now it's your turn to change. That's not how it works.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Ugh. Okay. My story is from a regular patron of ours. I love her. I love hanging out with her on Facebook. So her subject is, did my date really bring his own date?
Oh, shit.
I'm sorry?
Exactly. She says, did my date really bring his own date? So let me take you back to the early 2000s. I met this guy at a club in Chicago when we all thought we were going through our emo goth phase.
Perfect.
I'll tell you his real name because it's such a common name that I don't really care about his anonymity. Wow, that's a hard word to say. So I'm 19 and Jose was maybe 21. And the club allowed women to enter at 18 and men at 21. Cassie, what was the name of that club that was like that in Columbus?
The Edge?
I think so. It was
Downtown?
No, I'm thinking of the one that was, oh my God.
Club Dance, Minsky's. I'm trying to think of like all the old clubs from back in the day.
Oh, I know. I know. Oh, it's going to drive me nuts. Anyways.
Why does that feel weirdly predatory to me?
Oh.
Where they're like, girls can come in younger?
Yep.
I don't like that.
I think it was meant to be a statement of women are more responsible, but I don't think so. I think it sounds very fucking predatory.
Yeah, totally. Okay. So he was a smaller guy, maybe 5'6" and skinny. I'm only 5'2", so that didn't bother me. He had longer hair, think 90s Johnny Depp, and he wasn't ashamed to tell me he'd been told by many of his female friends that he looked like a Mexican Justin Timberlake.
Oh, wait.
Oh my God. So we started talking and maybe hung out like 3 times because each time got
Brag.
more terrible than the last time. I know, humble brag.
Sorry.
She goes, I must be a slow learner, but this story was the final straw for him. So Halloween is approaching and our wannabe goth selves were very excited for the Halloween party at this club. I had plans to go with Jose and meet my friends there, but a few days before the party, he calls me and tells me that he unexpectedly had an old friend fly in from Texas to visit him this weekend. He asked me if I would mind if she joined us on Saturday. He said, I know this is a big favor to ask, but I feel bad that she flew all the way here to see me and I have plans. So I say, sure, whatever.
She didn't let you know that she was coming? She just popped
Surprise.
up?
Oh, exactly. A flight from Texas to Chicago, just like all of a sudden. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I say, sure, whatever, that's fine. Maybe I'll invite a friend so it's not just the 3 of us, thinking no big deal, right? I call my friend Erin and I say, hey, are you going to that party this weekend? Do you mind riding with me? Did I mention that this guy lived 1.5 hours from me and I had no business talking to anyone that far to begin with?
That's right. You. Geographically undesirable.
Amen.
No thanks.
Dude, I feel like my sphere got smaller and smaller, not just from being in LA but like driving in an hour and a half to like meet a guy that you liked at like 18, 19 was probably
totally different.
Except totally different. I had trouble driving a half an hour to meet a guy that I liked like now. But
I would have to say, yeah, at this point in my life, there are too many people on this planet for me to drive an hour and a half to see
anyone.
You, unless like you better be the most amazing person. Like I better be thinking that you are worth uprooting my entire life for if I'm going to drive an hour and a half to date you.
Way too long. I'm too busy. Okay, so Saturday comes. I think I was dressed as a sexy pirate.
Amazing.
I pick up Aaron and we make the journey to pick up Jose and the girl who's already at his house. They get to my car. Aaron offers him the front seat, but he's like, no, it's cool. I'll just slide into the back. He introduces us to his friend who's dressed in all black, but had these yellow cat eye novelty contacts in. I don't even remember her name, so let's call her Fulana. It's an inside joke for Spanish speakers when you don't know a woman's name. I don't know what I just said, so I'm very sorry if it was offensive. I do not. All the Spanish that I know has to do with restaurants. So if you need a spoon, I can tell you how to say that. But anyways, Fulana gives me a very meek hi and stays quiet for the rest of the ride. Fulana fucked your boyfriend. Mm-hmm. Totally.
100.
I'm just going to say
1,000%.
And apparently the dick was good enough to not only go an hour and a half because
true.
She flew
That's right.
from Texas to Chicago for that.
Yeah. Wow.
For Mexican Justin Timberlake dick.
Exactly. So we tried to ignore the sudden awkwardness in the car and make our way to the club. We get there and meet my friends. The rest of the night's okay, dancing and drinking. Every now and then, Aaron would point out that Jose was missing, and so was Fulana. And what the fuck was going on there? Yeah, she was right. What the fuck was going on with them? Anyway, at one point, I start walking around looking for them and could not find them anywhere. Then suddenly he appears and I call him out. Where have you been? I've been looking for you. He asked to speak to me outside because, of course, it's a club and hard to hear. So we go outside.
The audacity. I'm already pissed.
He's going to fucking break up with her. I'd be like, find your own.
Way home.
I drove you here.
Yeah. Bye.
Yeah. He apologizes for not being able to spend time with me. He asks me if I'm upset he brought his friend. I say, well, no, it's a little weird that she doesn't speak to me, but I just thought we'd all be able to have fun together. So far, I'm having a good time with my friends, but I feel like the two of you keep running off. He's very apologetic and agrees with me that she's being weird, confessed that she used to like him, and has always been shy around new people. But he was here with me, and
I'm sorry.
have nothing
Time
to
out.
worry about.
Okay.
That is such a fucking early 20s, late teens thing to say. She used to like me, honey. She flew from Texas to Chicago to hang out with you. And she's not talking to your girlfriend. And also, I'm sorry she's being weird. Sir, you're here too.
Right.
What are you being?
Yeah.
Totally normal?
He pulls me close and grabs my face in a romantic way, and we proceed to make out. My naive 19-year-old ass ate it up. Dude, I would have too.
Yeah.
Honestly, this is how we learn. This is how we all learn.
Oh, I don't blame her. He knows exactly what he's doing.
We've all been
He's being
19.
incredibly manipulative. Yeah.
After a few minutes, we walk back into the club holding hands and maybe dance a little. So the time of the night comes for us all to leave, and he asked me if I would mind dropping her off at her aunt's house and that it wasn't that far from his house. Sure, whatever. We get to the car, and he offers Aaron the front seat again and gets in the back with Fulana. The ride home, they are sitting a bit close, giggling and whispering. Aaron and me are giving each other the side eye like, what the fuck? I think a few times Aaron even says, what's so funny? We want to laugh. Oh my God.
It's just her friend is like, nah, not today, son.
I love that friend.
too.
That's a good friend. Because he's like, girl, I got your back. And we're going to let them know that we know
Exactly.
what they're
I see
doing.
you, motherfucker.
He gives me directions to where I was taking her. We pull up and park. I turn around and say, well, it was nice meeting you, but the two of them are hugging underneath a jacket that's also covering their heads.
Oh,
For what seemed like way too long than a quick goodbye. I'm stunned. I don't know if I'm really seeing this. What is this? Erin is pissed. She loudly says,
Aaron is about to fucking murder them. I love him. What a good friend.
she says, what the fuck? Excuse me? What is going on in there? I think she even taps him on the shoulder like, hello? She looks at me like, are you seeing this bullshit? Fulana fight.
Oh, Aaron is a girl.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought it was Aaron Aaron.
Aaron.
Okay.
No, but I'm just like thinking, I'm like, Cassie, like, what the fuck if you were in the front seat and you saw my boyfriend making out with a girl in the back seat?
Oh, you would have pulled that
I would
jacket straight
snatch.
down. You guys are underneath the jacket.
snatched.
That shit's coming off immediately.
Oh my
the
God.
audacity!
Get the fuck out of
This
my
just
car.
Makes me think of that tag group where it was like all that men bring to the table is the audacity.
Yes. It's like my favorite tag group
Ever.
I'm just like, this is some bold ass shit.
Get the fuck out of my car.
Exactly.
Both of you. Bye.
In front of me, in my car, after I drove you somewhere? Are you fucking
No,
kidding
sir.
me?
Jose's head pops out of the jacket to me and Aaron staring at him like, what the fuck? He awkwardly was like, what? We just wanted to have some privacy to say goodbye. At this point, I'm just pissed, confused, and stunned. I think Aaron makes a snarky comment, and I just begin driving because I want him out of my car. I should have left him there, but my polite ass still drove him
You
home.
should have. That's you being 19. Me at 30, I'm like, get out of my car. You can call a Lyft. Goodbye.
Bye.
I know that Lyfts didn't exist in the early 2000s, but
Cabs
that's
did.
a Jose problem.
Yeah, exactly.
That's right. The
I
fuck
think
out.
I think he maybe asked if we could talk for a minute, and I was like, nah, I'm good. You can go now. He got out of my car and I drove away. Me and Aaron shaking our heads like, what the fuck was that? Did my date really bring his own date? Love you three. Thanks for keeping the show going during this quarantine. It's really helping me get by. I look forward to the day you ladies can come out to Chicago. XOXO.
So do we.
Oh my God. I know. Oh my God.
Okay. Are you guys ready
Yes.
I'm ready.
for my crazy in love? I don't know that you guys are going to know this story. So I love to find stories that you don't know. This is this,
I love those as well. I can't wait.
and it's somewhat historic. So I think this will be fun.
Ooh.
My favorite.
Yeah. So this is the story of Marguerite Alibert, also known as Maggie Miller. I got most of this information from Wikipedia, a story that I found on Medium by Rachel Sowerby, published by Weird History, and then History Collection Online. So, are you
Love
ready?
it already.
You're like already in. Great.
Mhm.
Okay. Born in 1890 in Paris to a coachman and a housekeeper, Marguerite was not born into a life of luxury. When her younger brother was killed in an accident, he was just 4 years old. He was hit by a lorry truck, and her parents blamed her, and she was sent to live at the Sisters of Mary boarding school with, basically raised by nuns. They were like,
Remember when you could just like send your kids away
Yeah.
just because you were like sick of them?
yeah,
Yeah.
you know what? You're on my nerves. I'm going to send you to a boarding school. And
I feel like the majority of people did that back in the day. They like you had kids to send them away.
right. And now it was like, and like the richer you were, it was like almost like a nod, like, oh, my kids are off in boarding school. This was not a case of rich people boarding school. This was a case of, we think you are responsible for the death of our son, so we're sending you to live with nuns. Is that fucked up?
Jesus Christ.
I have a feeling that maybe she's not going to grow up the most mentally stable from this situation.
Let's put it this way. There are consequences to the actions of this.
Oh, I'm intrigued.
This is quite a story. You guys are going to fucking shit. It's so good. Okay. Around the age of 15, she was sent to a home. So this is after she's been living with the nuns. The nuns sent her off to a home to live, where she likely begins this career as a domestic servant. Her life takes another turn when at the age of 16, she becomes pregnant by an unknown father, and she is turned out to live on her own. She gives birth to a daughter, Ramon, who she sends to live in a farm in central France because she tries to go back and live with her family, and her family is like, "No, ma'am, no." So
her family sucks.
Sooks super hard. Super fucking hard. And they're like, no, we're not going to raise this child either. And so they send this little baby girl off to be raised in this farm in central France. With little else to turn to, or no one really to turn to, Marguerite begins a life of sex work. She's soon discovered while on the street by Madame Donat, a prominent brothel owner who has housed some of the most sought after courtesans in Paris at the time. So,
oh my God, I know why you love this story then. It makes you think of harlots.
It sounds just like harlots. Yeah, it does.
It's funny because at first I didn't know how much it was going to sound like harlots. And it, like, literally in my brain, I was like, this is fucking harlots. It's just a different time period.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, thus far, I'm Team Marguerite. I'm like, whatever she did, I'm sure it's fine. I'm sure it's fine.
You know what? I'm sure it turns out okay. I'm sure she's actually very, very...
I'm just saying, if she hurts anybody, they probably deserved it, is the vibe I'm getting so far. But we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. So soon Marguerite would meet Andre Meller. She was enchanted by this wealthy 40-year-old. He owned stables of horses, and she fell in love. She fell in love with horses. She was like, fell in love with the lifestyle. She fell in love with this 40-year-old. And at 17...
So he's Doc Antle. And those horses are his tigers.
Oh, yeah.
I see.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. He lured her in with horses. I understand.
Well, at 17 years old, he's 40, she was living in a private flat paid for by Andre, and she took his last name, claiming to be his wife. But in reality, Andre was still married, and the relationship eventually ended with them when she was about 23. But she did continue to go by Maggie Miller from that point.
What do you think he felt about that? Was he just like, wish you wouldn't? Or like,
fine. I'm sure he probably didn't care too much. He did pay for a flat for her, and she was living this luxury lifestyle, riding his horses. And
yeah, but like, if somebody... I don't know. I'd be like, cling level 10 if somebody changes their last name to your last name.
Yeah, I don't know. And I don't know if this is just a courtesan thing at the time. Like, this is kind of the, I don't want to say norm, but like, is this maybe, I don't know. Like, all I know about this is from harlots. So in my mind, I think of like having a kept courtesan was pretty, I don't want to say normal.
Yeah, no, that part seems fine to me. It's the taking the last name that seems weird to me.
Can you...
Like, that to me would be like a red flag. I'm like, why are you doing that?
Can you fucking imagine, like, for a vast majority of history, it was like super normal for your dude, like acceptable, normal for him to have just like side piece.
That he kept.
Yeah, and that you were supposed to like, that was normal. You're just supposed to, like, accept that.
This is fine.
But I also feel like maybe it's different because you're not marrying for love. So there could be an aspect of, like,
convenience,
whatever, as long as I don't have to deal with him. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of wives didn't really like their husbands. So if there were other people keeping him entertained and away from me, yeah, they're probably like, this is fine.
Yeah.
It's like such a recent development in history, and even it's still not happening in the, like, all of the world. I think that we're so blessed to live in a time, I think, where we are marrying for love, and we do get to make our own decisions on our partners, and we don't have to accept them having a courtesan that they pay for an apartment for.
Right.
Shit.
Yeah. It's true.
Yeah.
Oh, strange times. Soon. Boop, boop, boop. Sorry. There we are. Their relationship, like I said, ended when she was 23. And in 1917, she had been introduced to her next dalliance, that only of Prince Edward VIII. They were introduced. So Prince Edward VIII was the Prince Edward who gave up his title to marry Wallis Simpson. So if that kind of puts it in perspective, who's who.
Mm-hmm. If you watch The Crown,
right.
yeah.
Who's who in the royal family. They were introduced by friends of Edward's as a way for the young 23-year-old to, quote, gain sexual experience from a, quote, full education from an experienced woman. The prince had lost his virginity only recently from a, quote, borrowed courtesan from his friend. His friend had a courtesan that he was like, you know what? You need to lose your virginity and I'm going to let you borrow her. Ew.
Gross.
I just got chills.
Gross.
Not in a good way. It's so gross.
So basically, this new arrangement started a year-long love affair with Maggie, which resulted in a very passionate romance and love letters between the two. But after the year, it started to fizzle out. After her affair with Prince Edward, she continued to court many wealthy men. She gathered many gifts, often asking for multiples of the same gift to so that she could get like basically the same trinkets so that she could keep one and sell off the others for money. So this was her way of like making money off of her affairs.
Well,
One, smart.
well, also like it's super smart because like if she asked for a specific necklace from like all these dudes, then she could wear it around all these dudes and they'd be like, yeah, I bought that shit for you.
That's
You know what I
right.
mean?
That's right.
Yeah, it's kind of genius. It reminds me, though, of the woman who was dating a bunch of guys and got them all to buy her an iPhone, the new iPhone, and then she sold them all and bought a house.
Oh,
Yes.
shit.
Yes,
And I was just like, look, man, I respect the hustle.
I'm not mad.
exactly.
That,
Me either.
That's a seriously good hustle. She met her first, quote, real husband in 1919. This is Charles Laurent. The marriage only lasted for 6 months, yet yielded a hefty settlement that would pay for her Paris flat, a car, servant, and a stable of her own horses. Her daughter, Raymond, would actually also take the name Laurent as her last name. This is a 6-month relationship, and she came out like baller. She was like,
dude. I'm living the wrong life.
I know.
I gotta admit, yeah, like so far, I like her because here's the thing. A lot of people are gonna look at this behavior and kind of disparage what she's doing as like a gold digger or whatever. But I'm like, this is what happens when you don't give women choices to control their own destiny. And we have such limited options.
Exactly.
She did what she had to
That's
do.
right. Up to this
Yeah.
point, she's literally been playing the cards that were dealt her. I mean, what other opportunities really are there for someone at this time period with her background, with her upbringing, with her lack of education and any of these things? Like, what other options really did she have at this point to move herself up in any way? You know?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Exactly.
a year after her divorce, while escorting a businessman, she crossed paths with Ali Kamal Fahmy Bey. The incredibly wealthy Fahmy was taken by Marguerite and would eventually arrange for a proper meeting in 1922. He proposed almost immediately and asked...
Okay, how hot was Marguerite? Was she like super hot or was she just like really, really, really charming?
Very
Yeah,
beautiful.
show me-
She was really,
Show
really
me
pretty.
that Tinder profile.
Okay, hold on. I'll pull it up for you real quick. Boop, boop, boop. I have it probably already still here somewhere. Yes, this article is called From Sex Worker to Princess.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, hold on. Boop, boo, there she is. This is her after she marries Fahmy. Fahmy is
Oh, wow.
he's an Egyptian, not a prince. The name Bey which is at the end of his name, Femi Bey. Bey is a lord, and it's a title that he was not a family title, but was bestowed on him, kind of bestowed on this ultra wealthy businessman because of his connections. This prompted many, though, to refer to Maggie as Princess Femi. When he met her, he asked her, I mean, like I said, they courted very quickly. He proposed to her very quickly, and he asked her to accompany him to Cairo. Fami's family expected him to marry a Muslim, and Maggie agreed to convert to Muslim, but insisted on a contract that contained a clause that would allow her to continue to wear Western garments and allow for divorce if it was decided. However, in a quick switcheroo, he took this contract and ripped it up and added a clause that he himself would be allowed to marry take multiple wives if he wanted to. So he was like, we can't divorce, and I can have as many wives as I want.
Sounds like a real nice dude.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't sound good. It does not sound good. Not surprisingly, this marriage quickly soured, and Marguerite would never be a submissive, obedient wife that, this is what he was kind of looking for. He was hoping that, he'd met this beautiful courtesan. He was completely smitten with her, and he was hoping that she would just change her ways and become this beautiful, submissive, obedient wife.
You can't just will people to be different.
Just because you want to marry them.
You know what I mean? Like, if that's what you want, then find a woman like that.
Right.
You know what I mean? Why would you find this obviously very free-spirited, very worldly woman and then just expect her to change?
Exactly.
Like, why not just find somebody who fits what you're looking for?
He must have just been completely smitten with her is the only answer that I can even fathom, really. But and again, she's not going to be happy being one of multiple wives either. This is not who she is. You're right. This isn't who she is.
And it's not what she signed up for. It's not what she agreed to.
Exactly right. The two fought incessantly and occasionally publicly. Marguerite began to document abuse claims and several deviancy claims against Befami. One claim being that he, quote, torn her from, quote, unnatural intercourse. This propelled a long-standing rumor in Egypt that the Bey, in fact, was a homosexual. Dun, dun, dun. Heaven forbid. And at the time, it really, I mean, this was the idea that, somebody was homosexual was, unfathomable.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking like what, late teens, early 20s. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it also seems as though his family is religious. Mm-hmm. So on top of everything else.
Exactly. Many believe, however, that these claims were to bolster an eventual big divorce payout. So there's a lot of people who are like, okay, yeah, you were just writing all this shit down so that at some point you could divorce him and get that nice big settlement that you had before, right?
Mm-hmm.
And on July 9th, 1923, a year into their marriage, the two were in London and attended the showing of the, quote, The Merry Widow, which is apropos.
Foreshadowing.
Exactly. Upon return to their room at the Savoy, it's reported that the two engaged in a violent fight, and Femi left the room. When he returned around 2 a.m., shots rang out, and he was shot 3 times, 2 times in the back and once in the head. Marguerite had shot him with a pistol that she had kept under her pillow. She was arrested and would be tried in a case that would be seemingly cut and dry, right? I mean, there's not really much to contest here. She shot him. She was found immediately. She had the gun. He was shot in the back. Like, this is not, there's no way to even predict or assume that this is self-defense. I mean, he shot in the back, and the trial against her would be anything but cut and dry, though. The defense would line up a depiction of her husband that stinks of racism and deplorable accusations.
Oh, Jesus.
Shocking. Right. I knew that was going to happen as soon. I was like, oh man, you got this guy from the Middle East. Mm-hmm. married to a white lady? Oh, fuck. Yeah.
We're talking 1923 London. Yeah. So, I mean, this is not, yeah, exactly. So this is a race, religion, everything that you can think of being brought into this case. Just absolutely a racist.
I'm sure whatever 1923's version of the Daily Mail was going bananas. It's like, this case has everything. Yes. You've got an Egyptian prince. You've got a religion that we don't understand. Mm-hmm. You've got a French courtesan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. Theater, guns, the Savoy.
It's everything. This has everything. The defense, of course, like I said, bring up these deplorable accusations as well. Maggie would eventually be released with no convictions at all. So, how could such a obvious...
This woman is fucking Teflon. Yep. She is Teflon. All this shit happens to her and it just rolls right off.
Well, how could such an obvious murderer be let go? Well, Marguerite was not above blackmail and only years before used the scandalous love letters that she had saved from Prince Edward to secure a hefty sum of money. In 1923, she received a $100,000 payout holding on to these letters.
Yeah, I mean, that's the future fucking king of England.
That's right. And at that time, he was supposed to start a European tour, and they had swiftly put him into Canada and were like, you know what? No, he's just going to visit Canada for a while. During the trial, they got him the F out of Europe. And it's thought that many of these damning character traits and, were part of the plot points were, omitted from the trial because what the judge was like, blocked any of her past from being brought up in the trial. So they couldn't bring up the fact that she had large settlements from past husbands. They couldn't bring up any of her past dalliances, her courtesan lifestyle. So all these things, like basically they're building up famille from a character assassination standpoint in which the prosecution cannot turn around and do to her. They can't bring up any of her past. So this has all been blocked, and they think that it has been blocked because any of the letters releases would, and any of this released information would connect the prince to this woman who's on trial for murdering her husband. So
it's like that. It's so funny because there's so much of that story that is happening now that you can see with all the shit that's going on with that Prince Andrew being connected with Jeffrey Epstein. And honestly, too, like the racism in London, it's not like any of that has abated. Like my upstairs neighbor is from London, and wow, dude, hearing him talk about Muslims in London, it's jarring.
Wow.
Because it's something. And
for the record, we know not all Londoners.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. We know that before you message us, like we know that. But
it still exists.
It's kind of, of course it does. And it's just the same way that we talk about anytime people are like, racism's not a problem anymore. We had Obama for president. I'm just like, actually. Yeah. America is still super racist, and that's not all Americans, obviously. But when you have like deep-seated systemic issues for so long, that shit doesn't go away overnight.
Well, and imagine how it is now. So imagine how it was in 1923. I mean,
oh, exactly.
You're just, the levels. Marguerite would go on to live out her life in Paris. She would eventually back out of the public eye. She did do a little bit of acting here and there. So she did have a little brief period after the scandal in which that she, was a bit of a public figure, but eventually did kind of back out of the public eye. And upon her death, it was discovered by her grandson that she had been funded in this lavish lifestyle by settlements between 5 different men.
Whoa. Nice.
So, yeah. She,
Here's the thing about Marguerite. Okay. Here's the thing. Obviously, don't kill your husband. All right. We are a strictly do not kill your spouse podcast. Don't
hard
do it.
stance.
That's our hard stance. Please, no murder.
Yeah.
But to me, this is kind of like, yeah, dude, society created a monster. Whenever you raise somebody to be, when you make it clear that the only way they're going to be able to survive is to be as ruthless as possible, like it of course that's how she got through life. She was smart about it. Like, that's the thing, is like, you can't deny a whole group of people, i.e. women in this case, basic human rights and treat them like property or objects where you can just borrow them willy-nilly from men can just trade women willy-nilly without expecting them to learn to adapt and develop measures to protect themselves. Like that is kind of what she was doing throughout that situation. And again, don't fucking kill your husband. I'm sure there was a better way out of this, but
I mean, imagine
that's the game. She fucking learned how to play it, and she learned how to win it.
That's right. So, the fact, though, that she was able to get off with like the most obvious murder is it's honestly unbelievable. I mean, the big balls on Brett to be able to shoot a guy, your husband, and just point blank 3 shots, not even a question that that's an accident. And to know and to go into a trial, and I don't know, like, it doesn't even sound like she was nervous.
No, because she did the math. That's the thing. She did the math before she went in. She knew what she had. And it's the combination of the way that society treated women. It underestimated her. And then also this like worship of royalty. She knew she fucking had it in the bag. She's like, they're not going to do anything. This one little case and this dude from Egypt is not enough for them to jeopardize the monarchy. They're not going to do it. So she knew she had like a royal flush before she went in. You know what I mean?
Yes.
She royally did. Yeah. So that is the story of Marguerite's Princess Famille. It's so funny. It's a crazy story. I'd never even heard of it before.
I looked at pictures of her too. She is smoking.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Hot. She's beautiful. Dude, the other thing too is like I've been looking at a lot of pictures from that time period anyways, because there's so many articles about the Spanish flu that was happening at the same time, like 1918 and 1919. And yeah, it's just fucking wild. Like, it just makes me think, like, so many things that are happening right now are exactly what happened then. Like, not different at all.
Wow.
And we're talking about 100 years difference. The same fucking bullshit. And I'm like, history always repeats itself. And as much as, like, that story is, like, crazy, and we're like, oh my God, can you believe that happened? I'm like, I could see that happening right motherfucking now.
100%.
Right now.
100%. If it had to do with the right people.
Yep.
I mean, look at OJ, dude.
Yeah. For real.
Wow.
Like, I'm just saying, like, if it has to do with the right people who have enough influence and enough money, anyone can get away with anything, you know, like, and that's the sad truth of it. But human beings are just destined to continue to make the same mistakes over and over and over.
Yeah, and like we literally had this whole thing laid out like it happened 100 years ago, and we're doing the exact fucking same shit over again. It's mind-boggling to me. It's unbelievable. So, good story. Well done. I've never
Great
heard
story,
of her.
Cassie. Me neither.
I was surprised I hadn't heard of the story either. And so Keegan and I are big fans of Noble Blood, another podcast. And I just, I don't know. Sometimes like, I just love hearing these like tawdry tales of like past, and it just kind of went into like a weird rabbit hole of trying to find like something historic and, you know, royal adjacent.
I love it too. And to Christina's point, I think part of why we love it is because no matter how different times are, people are the same.
Yep.
And I think that that's what's fascinating about it, is just like the times can be different, technology can be different, the way we live our lives can be different, but like people are the same and the way we handle relationships are the same.
Yep.
And and that is fascinating to me.
Yeah, same. Oh my gosh. Speaking of like historical stuff, have you guys seen trailers or anything about the new show from the creators of Downton Abbey?
Yes.
Belgravia?
I want to see it
so bad.
I actually was going to make a plan to start watching it today, but I think it just came out. I'm stoked.
Yeah. I want to check it out. I need a new show like that in my life right now. I love that kind of thing.
Yeah, totally. So what are you guys watching? I mean, I know we talked a little bit about what we're watching at the beginning of this, but are you guys watching anything else?
Whew, not really. I'm just like YouTube and Parks and Rec. I need to find something else, I think, though, to like make my brain start working again. I felt like I had a real like turn my brain off week. Like light switch.
Yeah, I needed that this week. This week sucked. It was really, really like hard for me. So but I've been mainly watching a lot of YouTube still. Tons of YouTube. That's pretty much what I do during the day. I actually started watching Escaping Polygamy.
Oh shit. What?
They have full episodes of Escaping Polygamy on YouTube, and it's a Lifetime show with these 3 sisters who were all from the same polygamist sect of FLDS in Utah.
Yeah.
And they were 3 sisters, all had the same dad, but 2 of them had the same mom, and the other one was a different wife. And they all escaped, and now they help other people escape polygamy.
Oh shit.
And it is fascinating. I have been watching the show. It is so fascinating. The last one I watched had like Warren Jeff's daughter who got out, and she was trying to get her other sister out. It was amazing. But anyway, so yeah, I highly recommend. Fascinating. But I have started the 3rd season of Ozark. So good. I love it. Ozark is so good. It's such a good show. And also, as somebody from the Ozarks, I can watch it and be like, yeah.
You're like legit.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
I'm like, I know those people. Yeah, I know those people.
I should watch it.
It's correct.
That's one of those shows that's been on my list like forever, and I have not even started it yet, and I don't know why.
It is so good, and this season, I'm like 4 episodes in, might be the best season.
Oh shit!
It might be the best season. There's a girl on it who plays Ruth, and I think she's English, but she plays like lake people from the Ozarks so well. Like it's so good. So I highly recommend, if you guys have not watched Ozark, this could be a good time for you to like start that show. It's a little intense. It's a little intense, but it's very good. So Laura Linney is a fucking treasure, and I love her so much.
I like her too. I didn't even know she was in it. Yeah, I want to see that. It looks good. I have been watching, like I said, we just finished Bosch season 6, which is, you guys need to watch it so that we can talk about it, because it is so fucking good. So we just wanted to finish watching that, and then, like I said, our nighttime snack has just been Community. So it's kind of where we're at right now.
Have you guys been cooking anything interesting?
Oh my god,
that's always been fun. That's been fun in quarantine. Is like, let's try something new.
It is my biggest joy in my life right now. We're actually making al pastor from scratch right now today.
Dude,
I made empanadas last week, like homemade dough, homemade filling empanadas. It was freaking delicious. And we had a craving for meatloaf, and I've never made meatloaf in my life. And I made meatloaf, and it was like so comforting. I made meatloaf and mashed potatoes.
Fuck yes.
And I was like, it was like the most comforting thing ever. So that's a little joy of quarantine.
Yeah, Eric last night we got this really good olive oil, and then he put a bunch of shallots in it and like brought it to like a boil, and then threw some rosemary in it, then strained it, and then we just dipped bread in this like shallot rosemary oil.
Oh my gosh. I made homemade French bread last week. And then we had leftover, because I made soup and I wanted it with the soup. And then we had leftover French bread, of course. So I chopped up a couple cloves of garlic, put olive oil and then a bunch of just herbs in the olive oil and made like a dipping sauce for the French bread. Oh my gosh. So amazing.
To die for. That was our dinner last night, actually, was just like, I mean, he had gotten like a whole bunch of different cheeses and meats and stuff.
Perfect.
And so we just like, oh my God, it was the fucking best.
Charcuterie for dinner.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Chef's kiss. Oh my God, you
best.
guys, I haven't eaten at all today. You guys are killing me.
I know.
My stomach hurts.
Oh my gosh. Well, if you have stuff that we should watch, maybe stuff that we should cook during this time, if you just want to reach out, if you want to join our Patreon, go to our one-stop shop of a website. It's myworstatePodcast.com. We hope you guys are staying safe and enjoying us while you're sheltering in place. And we love you so much.
Cheers.